President, Fellows, a member of the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland.
Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all very welcome to the membership conferring ceremony here this afternoon. It's great to be welcoming you all here in person. Over the last 2 years, our virtual ceremonies allowed us to celebrate the exceptional work carried out during some immensely difficult times, with many here today working as the unsung heroes on the front line during the pandemic. However, I think we can all agree that it's wonderful to be back here in the historic number 6 Kildare Street since the return of our in-person conferring ceremonies earlier this year. So may I introduce the platform party, Professor Mary Horgan, our President, Professor Mary Higgins, Vice President, Dr. Judith Meehan, Fellow Faculty of Paediatrics, Professor John Cook, Fellow on the Council, Dr. Ciara MacDonald, Associate Dean of Examinations in Paediatrics, and I'm Professor Michael Keane, the Registrar. As I look around the college building at the portraits hanging on the walls, I'm reminded that we have 2 new additions. In the Stern Room, where you sign the college roll book, you may have seen the portrait of the late Laura Brennan, whose campaign and advocacy for the HPV vaccine was recently said to have saved thousands of lives, and was the first non-medic to be honoured in this way. And of course, our President, Professor Mary Horgan, whose portrait was launched by Taoiseach Micheál Martin here earlier this year. It's great to finally get some female representation in these hallowed halls. It is long overdue. But as you look around at these faces staring down at you from the framed pictures around this hall, know that today you are joining their ranks as a member of the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland. This is an exciting moment in your careers and one that you've earned through your hard work, determination and dedication, as well as the support of those around you. So well done to everybody. This is a meeting of the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland for the purpose of conferring membership, which I now declare open. With your permission, President, I will now proceed with the conferring ceremony.
Please proceed.
Mary, you go ahead. You're not, so okay. You're not. I'll now ask the licentiates and members to stand and to read with me the declaration for membership.
No, you're fine.
So I do hereby solemnly and sincerely promise that I will observe and obey the statutes and regulations of this college relating to members, and will submit to such penalties as may be lawfully imposed for any neglect or infringement of them, including the erasure of my name from the list of members and the surrender of my diploma of membership received from the college. I further promise and declare that I will, to the best of my ability, do all things in the practice of my profession for the honour of the college and the good of the public. I further promise and declare that I will not keep open shop for the sale of medicines or endeavour to obtain practice or to attract public notice by any unworthy means, nor will I either permit or sanction the use of my name by any other person for such purpose or in connection with any secret remedy. And in case of any doubt relative to the true meaning of this engagement, I promise to submit to the judgment of the college. I now call upon the President, Professor Mary Horgan, to formally admit the new members of the college to membership.
I will now formally admit the new members of the college to membership. By virtue of the authority vested me as President, I hereby admit you collectively as licentiates and members of the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland. Congratulations to you all.
So congratulations to our new members. You may all be seated. I'll now ask each new member to come forward and receive your parchment as your name is called. Amy Claudia Abrahams. Isa Lizwan bin Ahmad Munaran. Fadwa Suleiman Ali. Alana Kate Allen. Sohat Noman Al Shubaki. Muhammad Wakwas Anwar. Afsan Azar. Raksa Devi Bitu. Maeve Ann Brassel. Alva Mary Brennan. Eleanor Burke. Marianne Butler. Sarah Ann Devlin. Paul Donovan. Evan Patrick Doyle. Leonardo Falcone. Evelyn Elena Lauren Roberta Fenley. Nasa Carmel Fitzpatrick. Kushan Galav. Arslan Haider. Wissam Mahmood Hussein Hamouri. Katie Joanna Hanley. Lorna Hallcroft. Arshad Hussain. Maeve Highland. Vicky Irwin. Lorna Imelda Kelly. Sarah Eleanor Kennedy. Majid Khan. Nusaiba Mustafa Kir El Siad. Cian Leahy. Ashley James Lloyd. Ahmad Lutfi. Jamie McGettigan. Nora Marie McGrath. Hassan Saeed Mortagi. Alvi Marie Murphy. Noman Naeem. Fakia Naeem, Jiren Marie Nihikon, Louise Jacqueline O'Halloran, Shauna Quinn, Kishan Radhakrishna, Shamela Rafukat, Abdullah Riaz, Emily Josephine Rutherford, Deirdre Ryan, Amina Shabir, Bilal Shahid, Sabrina Sheridan, Kira Shreenham. I now call on one of our new members, Dr. Alana Allen, to address you on behalf of the Trainees Committee.
Thank you, President, fellows, members, family and friends of everyone graduating today. As a member of the Trainees Committee of the RCPI, it is my privilege to represent you and to work on your behalf with the College to improve the quality of medical education and training. It is with sincere pleasure that I'm here today to both celebrate and congratulate you on the massive achievement of succeeding in gaining membership of this college. I am personally aware of the hours, months, years of work put in to get here today, of the sacrifices you have made, both personally and financially, to reach this goal. You have made no small effort, and today your effort has paid off. As members of the RCPI, you've distinguished yourselves as the brightest and best physicians of your generation. You stand apart as the group of doctors who will lead the profession for the generation to come. We are at a turning point in how healthcare will be delivered to the people of Ireland, and all of you graduating today will have a command for how this evolves and how it serves the needs of the patients at the most vulnerable point in their lives. Our graduation today leads us one step closer to specialisation in a chosen career and towards being a leader within our healthcare service. It marks a significant milestone in our career progression and also marks success. It also signifies a new opportunity to use the talents and skills that we have proven through challenge and adversity to guide our colleagues, especially interns and SHOs. I am also aware that no one passes through these exams does so without a modicum of help, and I'm delighted to see so many friends and families members here today. Their support has gotten us here in no small measure, and I'm so glad that they are here to share in our success. Finally, now that the exams are over, you may have some spare time on your hands. It's important to use this period to take stock of your achievement and to think what direction you would like your career to take. With that extra bit of time, I'd also invite and encourage you to join us in the Trainees Committee in working with the college to bring about positive change that will benefit you and the doctors to come. I'm sure over your engagement so far with the RCPI, you've seen things that we could do better. And now that you have both the insight and authority, I really urge you to work with me to keep making this college a better and better place for trainees, so we can be proud to be members of this institution, proud of the fact that we are part of receiving and providing world-class medical training, proud of the fact that we always strive for better, and proud of the fact that we in this room are constantly working to safeguard the healthcare of the people of Ireland. Thank you very much, and congratulations again.
I now call the President, Professor Mary Horgan, to address you.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Alana, for a lovely talk. Guests, members and fellows, it's a great pleasure to welcome you to our home here, number 6 Kildare Street. This is the second conference we've had since 2019. The obvious intervened and prevented us from getting together. I suppose a lot has changed. Every single one of us was challenged in the last 2 years, both professionally, my colleagues here, but also personally. There's not one person in the room that wasn't impacted. And many of us who went on the media knew this day would come, because the college was founded in 1654. We've lived through many, many pandemics. And this one we are hopefully getting to a much better place than we were. This, I suppose, putting it in context, when I started medicine, UCD in 1980, 1981, the first description of AIDS happened, and it took 4 years to develop a test for HIV. With SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID, everyone's an expert here. I never thought I'd see such an educated population, but it took less than a month to develop a test, and that's where science was inevitably going to bring us. But science requires my colleagues here in the front who are involved in medical research or university research, but also the population believing in science. And particularly in Ireland, we were grateful for people's understanding, acceptance of vaccination. Really, vaccination has brought us to where we are today. This is, I suppose, we've sacrificed a lot. Many of us were on the front line, despite having over 30 years experience in infectious diseases. I learned from my colleagues, my younger colleagues, on the front line when I went back in CUH, and they learned from me. It was a total unknown for everybody, but what we did was looked after each other. We looked after our patients to the best of our ability, and I think we can be truly proud of that. I do think that the training that you get in this country is second to none. You can go anywhere you want in the world. I certainly encourage you to do, as I did and many others here on the platform have trained overseas, but also to come back to the countries in which you're from and give back. That's really, really important. And it was a particularly pleasure for me to be able to pay back to the country, whether it was helping the GA, getting kids back to play. I think that was one of my big achievements, and I'm talking to some of the paediatricians and parents here, getting so many kids back to cool camps in June of 2020. Because they were a good organisation. They did promise me as a Kerry woman that we would eventually win the All-Ireland. So they did that. But also the college is its membership, it's the doctors, it's you, the new generation of members, the fellows like us. Many of us have been involved in the pandemic response. The college here is home to NIAC, which is the National Immunisation Advisory Committee, that provides advice on safe, effective vaccines. And indeed, many of my colleagues, I see Mary Higgins here, who's our Vice President, obstetrician and gynecologist. We were the first, or they were the first people to identify the issue with premature delivery in pregnant women. Our neighbours nearest to us didn't quite believe us, but we prevailed and were correct. And that's because we train well, we make you curious, We make you look over the hedge to see what new things are around the corner so that we can give back for the fantastic education and training that we've given you, but that your families and friends in the background have supported you through. We do continue to play leading roles in many advocacy areas, and I know our paediatrics and public health have been involved in supporting policy papers on homelessness, children in direct provision, all of which are important to us as a college. Passing the membership is really a milestone in your career. And I was in your place 34 years ago. Hard to believe it was that long ago. Did I think I would end up being elected as the first female president, the first Kerry person to take the role? But I think, you know, your careers are full of twists and turns. There are opportunities, some of which I've succeeded in, some of which I failed, but they've made me stronger and confident in your ability to absolutely achieve your potential. Over the day, we have about 150 new members from medicine, pediatrics, and obstetrics and gynecology being conferred. And just to acknowledge the work of Dr. Lucy-Anne Behan, who's our Director of Exams for General Medicine, Dr. James Jameson, Professor Kathy McHugh, Dr. Helen Chewett, Dr. Ciara MacDonald, my colleague on the platform here, who's Associate Dean of Pediatric Examinations, Professor Mary Higgins, who's Chair of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Professor Paul Byrne, Dr. Mark Hare, and Dr. Nikki Purandari. And they do so on a voluntary basis because we feel it's really important to train you the best way we can so that we can pass on the baton of this great college to our next generation. But I mentioned your family and friends. We never do things by ourselves, whether it's the teamwork in hospitals, but it's the teamwork that your families and friends give you, the emotional, the financial support, which I'm sure is all stopped as of now, but also the cups of tea, keeping the children quiet, not slamming the doors. All of those things really get us to where we are today. So just to reiterate what Alana said, do get involved in the college. There's no point in giving out about us. Come, make the difference, make the changes that are required. I wish you very well on your personal missions. Don't be afraid to take chances. Don't always follow a traditional path. I see some of my students from UCC here when I was Dean of the Medical School, and it's nice to see them continuing to progress on their journeys. So once again, my congratulations to all of you. My thanks to the staff of the college, my colleagues here, and wishing you and your families and friends a very nice day. Thank you.
That completes the conferring ceremony for membership. We would ask guests to remain here in the Corrigan Hall while the group photograph for new members takes place in the main entrance hall, and a reception will follow the group photograph in the Graves Hall just next door here.